Hey everybody, welcome to the Stock Car Spectacle. I'm Ian Jortson,
I'm Nick Kinzel.
I'm Tom Hovland.
and we just got done with Kansas this weekend. North Wilkesboro is coming up for the All-Star race and the Truck Series race there. But before we get into all that, let's start off with our diecast of the week. Nick, I know you don't have one, so we'll just go right to Tom. What you got for us, buddy?
Well, I brought a diecast that has too much padding in its front bumper. I figured I'd go all out with the Chris Buescher car this week. So pulled this diecast out with the 17 car. Got my shirt on. Big RFK fan here.
Oh boy.
Chris, in all honesty, Chris doesn't do anything. It's kind of sad. But when your name's attached to Brad, I'll poke a little fun.
Yeah, I guess so. For my diecast of the week, NASCAR's heading to North Wilkesboro, so bust out one of my favorite diecasts when Kevin Harvick ran the 29 there 2 years ago. It was cool of Richard Childress to let him run that awesome Busch Light scheme too.
That looked funny. Like I forgot that happened, and it looks funny seeing that scheme on a next gen car. But it's like super cool that they did it.
Yeah, I mean, I got both actually right here.
Ooh, okay.
Little
So
comparison.
and for Nick's diecast of the week, it's Kevin Harvick's rookie car.
Yeah.
Ian brought two. Excellent.
Ian brought two.
No, really cool pieces to have side by side. That's awesome.
Oh yeah. All right, so let's get into our top stories. So Chris Buescher has been handed an L1 penalty. Basically, the team went over the maximum reinforcement that was allowed for its front bumpers. As a result, he lost 60 championship points, 5 playoff points, and the team was fined $75,000. He lost his crew chief for the next 2 races, so we already know RFK has been in a big hole, and now that 17 team is in a bigger hole.
Well, just look at what it did for them. He went from 12th in the standings all the way down to 24th. And it's been a really tough start to the year for RFK. The highest car that they now have in points is Ryan Preece in 15. Then you got to go all the way down to 24th, find Buescher. And then you go all the way down to 33rd, and that's where you're going to find Brad Keselowski. So this team had such momentum over the last year or two, and just to start to this 2025 season, it has not been good for them at all. They could use any break they could catch at this point.
Yeah,
I mean, it shows how tight the field is, and like we're hearing the drivers say all the time, their cars are running the same speed. 60 points and 12 spots in the standings. It kind of just shows you how close the field is packed in in regards to even like the playoff bubble. It's that time. We're halfway through the year. You're thinking about the playoff bubble, and this does not help your chances if you're in the 17 car.
Yeah, really hurts you. And then another bit of news, Chicagoland Speedway could be possibly coming back to the NASCAR circuit. They've updated their website, and they even updated their track map as well with a brand new Turn 4 club. Guys, I know that looks like a sign that NASCAR could be coming back. We know that they do have Supercross that comes to Chicagoland Speedway, but if you're sitting at Turn 4 Club, you're not really getting a good view of what's going on with Supercross. So this might only mean that after the 3-year contract with Chicago Street Course Race, they're going to go back to Joliet next year.
Oh, yeah. Look at this. I'm looking it up right now. Updated stuff. Definitely. Oh, there's still Geico parking. So I don't know about that. Geico's not in NASCAR anymore. But the turn
what I did see, what I saw at that Turn 4 club, I know that back in the year, remember when Brandt used to wrap the backstretch with their logos, and they used to have their tent outside of Turn 4. So a lot of people were speculating that that's what that was. But from what I've read, the last 2 years, I think that Chicagoland was open for NASCAR racing, that Brandt moved down into the infield. So if this is Chicagoland putting that Turn 4 club back, then yeah, you would speculate that something might be happening here. And I hope it is. I mean, I think this is the only like the mile and a halfs are really the bread and butter for this next gen car. I think Chicagoland is more than deserving to at least give it a go again. Old surface, yeah, the bumps could be come into play, but old surface, mile and a half, why not? Like,
And, and I think
why not?
geographically, NASCAR needs to be in this market to be next to the city of Chicago. Yeah, the street race is great for bring your product to the people. But now that you've made those fans over the past 3 years, and I think it's pretty much written on the wall. Obviously, they signed a 3-year contract. There's no news about extension. So you got to go somewhere. I think you don't invest all this money into the market to then just up and leave after the fact. So this would be the play from NASCAR. You get a bunch of Chicagoans excited. It's like, hey, we came downtown to you guys for 3 years. Take a train ride out to Joliet. Maybe they set up a shuttle from downtown Joliet or something. I don't know, but drive down to Joliet, see what our products really like, and come on. I would love to see these cars race in Chicagoland, and they better not repave that track.
Yeah, it's a great surface. All right, real quick, hey Tom, can you check your mic? You're starting to sound a little muffled.
Am I
Yeah,
okay? Let me check. Let me see here.
you didn't
I
sound
just
too
lost,
bad at first, but that like right there at the end, it sounded like you were like underwater.
just unplugged it and plugged it back in. How's that?
Oh, that sounds
Any
good.
better?
Yeah, sounds a bit better.
Lost
Yeah.
the feed. There we go. I don't know why my Discord just shut off. But okay, let's. Yeah,
All right. We'll just start off with Kansas. All right, 3, 2, 1. All right, guys, let's get into Kansas. And with the truck race, Jake Garcia won the pole for the race. Good for the young driver. Corey Heim won stage one. No surprise there. That kid's just too fast wherever we go. And then Carson Hocevar, he held off Lane Riggs to win stage two. And then Frankie Muniz, he's just having more and more bad luck in the truck series. He had to quickly dodge a truck that was slowing down entering pit road. He ended up spinning out and yeah, bringing him to the back. He had some damage. So not a good season so far for Frankie. He's learning real fast what it's like to be a NASCAR driver.
Hey, he led one lap, I think, in this race under the pit strategy. So there's one plus for that team. But I mean, when you're driving for a team that isn't competitive, it's really hard to learn. So I feel for Frankie. We all want to see him do well, but when you're driving for a team that, yeah, doesn't have the funding and is just not competitive, I don't really know how much you're able to gain from it.
it's interesting because Frankie's marketable from the sense that he's got name recognition, but he's not going to get you the results on the track. I don't think if you put Frankie Muniz in the 11 that he
Yeah.
runs it. Obviously, he's not going to run it as well as Corey Heim because he hasn't been doing this for him. This is a passion project for him. He's going to bring some name recognition, so some teams are going to have him, but I think he's going to get discouraged pretty quick. He's going to continue to have days like this, and nobody's going to want to invest truly what it would take. I would think an astronomical amount of time and energy to get Frankie Muniz to be a competitive driver, and he's just too old and doesn't have enough experience for it to actually happen. So while I'm glad he's here, kind of breaks your heart, and hopefully it doesn't like drive him out of love of the sport completely. Hopefully he can get a good run in here and there to kind of keep up his passion.
Yeah, no doubt. We had a great last lap battle with Lane Riggs and Carson Hocevar. Riggs got a little tight in turn two, almost wrecked Hocevar, but that seven was able to keep it in, and he still won the race. And going to the checker flag, he told Lane Riggs, "Hey, buddy, you're number one."
All the way down. This was
All the way
staged
down.
2018. Was it 2018 at Chicagoland with the Kyle and Kyle show? Similar to turn one. We didn't get the same result back into turn 3 and 4, but it was set up for a great battle. Unfortunately, it meant nothing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
nothing. So probably good on Lane Riggs' part to not
Hmm.
go out and win that race because that one would have stung a couple hours later.
yeah.
What
Lane
was
Riggs
was
was disqualified.
it was interesting to me. Dale Jr. on his podcast took offense to Carson Hocevar calling Lane Riggs a kid, and they disclosed they're like, wait, they're the same exact age. So Carson Hocevar races a season and a half a Cup, and he thinks he's this KG veteran coming down. He's like, oh, it's guaranteed I'm gonna win a truck race. I'm a veteran. I race in the Cup Series. He's like, these kids don't know what's. He's younger than maybe a lot of the field, or at least the same age. So you love to see the personality from Carson, though, because you don't want a dry driver. I
Yeah,
don't think.
yeah. We don't have a whole lot of drivers with a personality in this sport. All right, so Kyle Larson led the field to green in the Cup race, and AJ Allmendinger, he had an issue early with his engine blowing up. He was going off on his radio, going off on the ECR engines and just how much his team sucks. And I think he's ready to just leave Kaulig Racing and just
He's just
end his NASCAR career. He has had it.
he's just, this is AJ in the Cup Series in a nutshell. He doesn't have fun. You can't tell me that AJ Allmendinger enjoys driving a Cup car. And you saw this in his end days at JTG Doherty Racing. He was miserable. He just sounds miserable every week, and I'd be miserable too if I had to drive a call cup car on a weekend basis. So yeah, it sucks to see. Maybe AJ will be like, let me go. I'm either going to go back down to Xfinity again and run well, or I'm going to continue to be miserable and hate my life again and not want to drive a stock car for a long time.
But yet, Ty Dillon, it's running well. That 10 car is, I would say, exceeding expectations. AJ has 3 top 10s, and they're not at places you'd expect. Vegas and Homestead, top 10, straight up for the 16 car.
Yeah.
And then he had it, where else do you have it? Ninth at Bristol. So the car can have speed. Maybe AJ was so frustrated because it was so early in the race, and he has had success at these mile and a halves, and he took it out on the engines. It's that's a tough thing because those guys building your engines, they're not going to want to support you if those are the kind of words you have for them.
Ty Dillon had a
Really
really
bad.
good day. P35 for Ty Dillon.
Well,
Great
Yeah,
day
okay.
for
that was a
that
late wreck. Yeah.
10 car.
But I
Great
will
run for the
say
10 car.
Ty Dillon has been doing pretty damn good. He's the best Kaulig driver, I think
I mean, you
in
see him up
history right
there.
now.
You see him up
In
there
history.
cutting it up there. Maybe he's not getting the finishes that I'm looking, but like I see him up towards the front every once in a while. I was like, what is a 10 car doing here?
Yeah.
Phoenix, where he was running good early. I know they had the option tires, but he was holding his track position. He finished 16th. So it's not. It again for who Ty Dillon has been in the past and the equipment that Colleague has. I think Ty Dillon's exceeding expectations in the eye test.
Yeah, no doubt.
Go pop himself.
William Byron, he had a blown tire. He hit the wall. He spun, ruining his day. He had a really fast car that could have gone up to the lead. But that dirty air at this track this weekend, it just pulled you back. If
Mm-hmm.
you had that clean air like Kyle Larson did for the entire race, you're gone. It was crazy. Like it's day and night from this year's race to last year's race.
And then you hate to see it because I was talking about it on the show last week before we ended. We needed a good running race. And I wouldn't say that this race was terrible. I just wouldn't say this race was good by any means. It was eh. It was at best. It was like running a Gen 6 car back on a mile and a half with when they first introduced that low horsepower package.
The
That's what it really felt
550.
like. Yep, they're back in the 550 horsepower package. That's what this race felt like. If you no matter what car you were, it was disappointing to see.
Yeah, it was pretty disappointing to see. Still had some good battles, but it we
None
just
for the lead.
yeah,
Well,
we couldn't see anyone really come up and fight for the lead really.
it NASCAR has kind of dug itself into a hole, and it's really come out this season in the fact that it's like, all right, save fuel until you pit. You're going to make all your time up on the pit stop. You're going to pass all your positions on the pit stops, and you're going to come out. And if you come out ahead of the car, you're just going to aero block them. And wherever we're going, it's the same race. Daytona, Talladega, Kansas, Bristol, Darlington. You go bide your time. You can't pass, so you try to pass in the pits and see what you can do. And they're talking about pit crew innovation because there's nothing to talk about going on the track. It's kind of frustrating to watch. So you have this crazy diverse set of racetracks in this unique sport, this unique racing sport that is NASCAR, and you've dumbed it down. You used to have different cars and different chassis for all these types of tracks, and to save money, they dumbed it down to one car, and it kind of sucks everywhere.
Yeah.
Isn't it just kind of crazy how we last year's season was like dubbed as like NASCAR's best season in a long time, and now I think that's the complete opposite this year. I think we're going down to one of NASCAR's worst seasons that we've had in a long time because just nothing has been good since really Homestead. Nothing has been good. It's just been really not great on track racing. And I know that Sunday was Mother's Day, but just you can go back and look at any Kansas crowd from the last 5 to 6 years. Nobody shows up to this. And that's why really Chicagoland Speedway shut down. Is because nobody showed up. And why would they show up when we're getting shit like we're seeing nowadays? Like it's hard to continue to get people in the seats when this car is putting on the product of racing that it is putting on. And but the NASCAR official, everybody up at the higher ends at NASCAR, they're like, yeah, we don't see a problem here. This is great to us. Like we're seeing good stuff here. We like what we're seeing, and
Look
nothing's
at the
ever going to
stats.
change
Look
if
at
they're
these
seeing
stats
that.
that we made
And
up.
well,
Yeah.
hey, look at these stats that we made up, and you're gonna just people are just gonna continue to not show up, and you're gonna get a crowd like you saw at Sunday at Kansas everywhere because it's just I don't even know what this is anymore. Like it's not good. We have not really had a good race in almost 2 months now, and that's just not a good look.
It was a fine race. I mean, again, I said last week I was entertained by Texas. There's intriguing portions of this race, but it's like when the broadcast focuses mostly on the leader and all of the passing and the intrigue is going on 8th through 20th, you're not going to put out a good product for the people to take in.
Yeah. It's Nick, you hit it on the head. We had probably the best season of racing last year. Almost every track we went to had some phenomenal racing, and this year I don't know what the hell happened. Um, but everything's just dumbed down. I think everyone has figured out this car. But we knew going into Kansas this past weekend that they were using a different tire than they used last year, which I don't
There you
understand
go.
because how can you look at that
How's that?
racing last year and they're like, yeah, let's completely change that. Let's never do that shit
Well,
again.
that's just sport to a T, though. It's like, oh, we just saw the best thing we probably ever saw a year ago. Now we can't have that again. We gotta make this bad again. And that's what they did. And it's really frustrating to see because we talked about this last week how we needed a race with something, with a moment, with something. And this race did not have it. And it sucks to see because Kansas the last 2 or 3 years has probably been the best track on the circuit. And now you're gonna go put on a show like that. We had some passing. You had more passes here than you had at Texas, which was another mile and a half track, but there was just nothing going on up front. Once you were there, you were gone. It was done. No chance at all. And it just sucks to see, boys.
Is it an expectation thing? Because if we did remember, are we looking rose-colored glasses to last season so fondly, and then we get to this year, we're like, well, that wasn't like last year. Are we putting too much weight on last season and just letting this season be its own thing?
I think more just expecting to see actual racing instead of
Just a moment.
just going up to the back bumper of a driver and you can't make a pass because they're arrow blocking you. I think it's just getting
It's
ridiculous. I don't
it's
know
just
what's been going on the past few years, how they made this car actually good. We've seen some great racing, but now it's just gotten real dumbed down. I don't know what they did to this car.
I think it's a difference from last year to this year is you can go to these tracks and have you're gonna have a certain moment from each race that you're gonna remember. And now you fast forward to this year and you look at these races and it's like, what stood out to you? Like what moment stood out? What good moment stood out to you? And I just can't say that there's many moments from this season so far. What are we 12 something races in? What moments have stood out? You don't see compared to last year. We were showing up to the racetrack week after week, and there's something that you're going to remember from those races. And now this year, what are you remembering from these races? I honestly can't say I remember two races 10 weeks ago. I don't remember anything. There's not been moments
Well,
this year, and
buddy,
we're
you're breaking
almost.
up real bad.
Is it me?
Yeah. Tommy,
I'm breaking up.
is he breaking up for you?
Yeah, getting like every third
Shit, I
word.
was.
Sometimes you sound like a robot.
What the fuck?
Are you connected to
Give
their
me a sec.
Wi-Fi?
Yeah.
Where are you at?
I'm
He's
Oh,
at
at
well,
my sister's house.
he's at his brother-in-law's.
Mm,
that was so funny. You sound like a musical instrument more than a human. He does make an excellent point, though. Like, what's been so standout, memorable?
Yeah, there hasn't
I
really been that many great
I'm
moments. Agreed.
not gonna be able to get into the Wi-Fi, so I don't know what you want me to do here.
You're not on. You're not able to get into the Wi-Fi.
No, I don't. I don't know which one is theirs, and
Oh boy.
Hmm.
see if I can find their route anywhere.
It's
Like
just
Akon.
getting worse and worse.
What are the owner points? Wow, amazing.
I never look at owners' points. It's just something I really don't care about.
It's so funny that it's what actually matters, but nobody cares.
Yeah.
Hendrick, Joe Gibbs, Hendrick, Penske, 2311. Gibbs, Hendrick, Penske, 2311.
Hell yeah. I mean, Bubba's been doing great.
Tyler Reddick up in 6th, Bubba in 11th. 14th, Hayek Motorsports,
Ricky has been very
Ricky
consistent.
Stenhouse. Amazing. Props to him. Amazing what you can do when you don't wreck the race car every week.
Yeah, right? Only took him like, what, 12 years?
Mm-hmm. They basically match the team points,
Yeah.
the driver points. Manufacturer points. Hmm. Interesting. We need more manufacturers. I want every one of these race teams in a different manufacturer. That would spice
Ha!
the hell out of this.
That would be insane. Have it
Sure,
be
you
like
could
F1.
leave the satellite teams, fine, whatever, or at least put like 2311 and Lexuses or something.
Oh, yeah, that would be cool.
So like, here's the stat. You got Josh Berry driving a Lincoln.
That would a Lincoln would fit for Wood Brothers, not gonna lie.
Yeah, and then you got like, okay, you got Chevy for Hendrick, but then you got like Trackhouse and Cadillacs, and what else does Chevy make? Chevy makes something else, right?
Yeah.
Then you get like Dodge in there, and then you got like some guys in Jeeps for some reason because they're made by the same people. The
Yeah.
Stellantis teams.
So General Motors makes Chevy, Buick, GMC, and Cadillac. So not
There
a
you
lot.
go.
Yeah. So you can bring a Buick in there, bring them back.
Yeah, bring back the Buicks.
And then
Fire
trucks can
could
run
Fire could
GMCs.
be in the GMC. Oh yeah, the trucks could be GMCs. I mean, damn, they're not making Camaros anymore, but they're gonna update the body and race them.
Yeah. I'm.
Nick has completely frozen.
Yeah. He's clocked out.
Dude, I thought this might happen because the storm's coming through, but they held off long enough, and then
Yeah, they're coming in soon. I'm looking at the
you're
radar right
further out
now.
west. Did it get hot out near you guys?
Yeah, it was. It's still like it's 88 degrees outside right now.
Oh damn, 80 where I am.
Yeah.
Cooler
All
by the
right,
lake.
where am I at? How do I sound
Hey,
now?
You sound better. You're
I
not
can hear
breaking
you.
up.
We'll take some time and see.
So far, so good. All right.
Damn, I was in such a good rant
Dude,
too. My
you
God,
were on one until we couldn't understand it
I was
anymore.
on a
Yeah.
I was on a fucking heater. God damn.
Honestly, Ian, do a quick little edit to that one and be like, Nick broke the internet with
Yeah, right.
his rant, and we'll we'll come back, and we're back.
But
Yeah.
seriously, what memorable moment has there been from this season? There has been none. I can't remember one. You can go
I
back
say
and
Josh
ask
Berry
me what
winning Vegas
happened.
is what I'd say. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. It's just crazy.
I mean, Talladega didn't even end in a big wreck. They're so boring this year. Like even the things that we're not supposed to cheer for, but we secretly cheer for, don't happen. So, uh,
Yeah.
Kyle Larson better win the Indy 500 and the Coke 600 in the same day, or
The
the season's gonna be a dud. We're gonna sell it off.
Here's
yeah,
what's gonna
could be.
happen is that Kyle Larson's gonna win the Coke six. Or he's gonna win the Indy 500, and then the Coke 600 is gonna get rained out till Sunday, so he still wouldn't have run in the double.
Mm, yeah, hell,
I could see it.
at least maybe he'd get to run the whole thing instead of
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, would be
not
nice to
running
see.
230 something laps, and they're like, yeah, we're good.
Yeah. And then what? He just runs a few pace laps in the Coke 600.
If he wins the Indy 500, they
What do
have
you
so
do?
much like media and whatnot. I know we're 2 weeks away. We're getting ahead of ourselves. But if he wins, there's so much media and stuff yet. He's like, guys, I gotta go race. It would be the most Kyle Larson thing. They'd be like, he's like, I can't drink that milk because it's gonna upset my tummy for the Coke. Then he wins the Coke 600. He's got to drink a bunch of Coke on top of it, just curdling in his stomach.
Oh
Nasty.
man, he's gonna have a rough day with his stomach if
Oh,
both of that happens.
new NASCAR or new racing challenge for Memorial Day is to smoke a pack of Marlboros for the Monaco, and then
Fuck
drink a
yeah.
cocktail of wash it down with a cocktail of milk and Coke.
Oh man, sounds like a rough day.
So anyway,
Yeah.
see, we're we're bored.
Yeah.
We're bored with the race this week.
Yeah,
What else?
thanks, NASCAR.
Ian, get us
Yeah.
back. What happened next?
Well,
Remind us.
speaking of the devil, Kyle Larson, he won stages 1 and 2.
Right.
He was on a heater during this race.
Ugh.
And then Brad Keselowski, he was having a promising day. He started like all the way in the back. And he came up and fought for the lead, but unfortunately had a tire go down. And we saw this. This was a big theme
Oof.
during practice when it happened to William Byron. These new tires that they brought for Kansas fucking sucked.
Well, it's not the teams are pushing them way because they have to go as fast as they can because it's the only thing they can control. And Goodyear's like, hey, listen, we said to put them at 25 psi, and these guys are running at 18, 19. That's why they're blowing out.
Yeah.
That's why Brad was able to get up through the field because they were pushing it more. But then as soon as he gets up towards the front, there's less things happening to his car. He doesn't have to fight through the dirty air. All that extra energy gets transferred to the tire, which now can't handle it. It's I
man.
don't want to jump to
I'm
blame Goodyear. Goodyear has been saving our asses months, years at this point. Like, well, we can't change the car, change the tire again. We need different tires. Good. I can't blame Goodyear anymore. What are they supposed to do? Invent new rubber? I
Yeah.
I
poor
don't know.
Brad. Poor Brad. That dude he's been in a gauntlet all season long, and we're just getting started. And that was finally looking like it was going to be his first solid run of the season, and there it went, just like that.
Yeah. Pretty damn rough for the
30,
six.
33rd in points. 33rd in
Best
points. And
finish of 11th.
what are we, how many races in are we now? Like 12? Like we only got 14 races to go until we go playoff racing? What race number was this?
That was 12.
This was the 12th, so we got 14 to go. And Brad
Mm-hmm.
Keselowski's 33rd in points. That dude better hope he finds himself a winning speed soon, because there's still 14 weeks to go until the playoffs start. But with the way that 6 car has been running, yeah, pointing your way in it's looking pretty impossible at this point.
Well,
Yeah.
from a business standpoint, for Brad as an owner, for what's invested into Roush Racing, you cannot have a car finishing 30th in the points. That's not sustainable.
That's
And
Trevor Bain
and
right there,
I
2015.
was honestly about to say.
you said it. We weren't going to touch that one, but if you wanted to, but but like Brad, the owner's got to. If Brad has any other driver in a car and it's running 30th in points halfway through the season, 33rd in points, they used to replace guys mid-season for stuff like this. Yes, he owns the car, so it's a little different. But like, good lord, you're not Jimmy Johnson. You're not doing it for fun anymore. You're running full time. You're running a business. So does Brad? If this does not improve for the rest of the season, I don't see Brad getting in the car next year.
That
Yeah.
would be something.
Yeah.
I don't think he's going. I don't think he's going out like this. I don't think he's going out a shit year like this. I just don't see it. But this is what happens when you expand your team from even 2 to 3 cars. You got a lot. You got to focus on here. RFK was really good season ago, 2 seasons ago, when they dumbed it down back to the 2 car operation. That's what they did a couple years ago. When they got rid of the 99 and the 16, they started running a little bit better, not great, but a little bit better. So you keep adding on cars here, and it's just known for that organization that they're going to struggle the more cars you put in that field. It doesn't matter really who's in charge, if it's Jack Roush or if it's Brad Keselowski. Those cars are going to go slow, and we have seen that this year.
You'd think the 60 would be the dud of the field, being the new team, but
And now
it's
he's
interesting that
now the best
he's
car
the
in
flagship.
points.
He's the flag. The 6 car should be the flagship, and it's the dud. And the 60 is outstanding, and even it had penalties.
Yeah. Just a rough season for RFK Racing. We'll see what Brad decides at the end of
It's
the
just
year, but I think he's gonna keep going.
it's just so crazy to see, because we saw them starting to rise a little bit when Chris Buescher won those races. He won what 3 races a couple years ago, and they can't back that up now. They ever since Chris won those races. Brad won last year at Darlington. That was kind of that, and now RFK is just back at the bottom again. It seems like it's like they rose.
All right, guys, welcome back. We are going to be making our picks for North Wilkesboro this weekend. Xfinity is off again, so it's the Trucks and the Cup Series both running here. Kick off with the Truck Series on Saturday with the Window World 250, 156 miles, 250 laps. Stages 1 and 2 are 70 laps each, and the final stage will be 110 laps. Last year's winner was Corey Heim, and Kyle Larson won back here in 2023 when we came back to North Wilkesboro. some notables in here. Kyle Busch will be in the 07 for Spire Motorsports, and Sammy Smith will be in the 7 for Spire Motorsports. So, Nick, you are up first, my friend. Who is your pick to win the truck race on Saturday afternoon?
I'm still gonna go with just the man of the truck series. If he's on the board, I'm gonna take him. The 11 of Corey Heim. He got beat by two Cup Series regulars last week, but he was still the highest finishing of the Truck Series regulars. He runs up front everywhere we go, and I just don't see that stopping this week. Get some more Cup drivers in the field, but I think he'll be able to hold his own, and I think the old 11 of Corey Heim is just going to continue maybe the most dominating truck series we've seen in a long time.
Yeah, without a
I
doubt.
don't know because Corey Heim may be a god, but Tricon is run by humans, and they've had some issues this year, whether it's on pit road or maybe pulling that truck out of the shop. So I got to go with somebody who has more than 210 National Series wins. Did you guys think I was going to pick anybody else? We're gonna run the gambit of this koozie for the truck race. For the truck race.
Okay,
I'm not crazy.
a win is a win.
Kyle's not gonna win the All Star race. That
That
would
would be
be
hilarious.
frankly that would be almost as much as torturous to me because it's not a points race. It doesn't matter. If Kyle wins the All Star race, I'll be like, oh god, it doesn't count.
If he's leading the All Star race, you
So,
better hope that 47 isn't behind him. We remember last
uh,
year at the All Star race.
well, it seems Ricky has learned how to not crash his car this year, so I don't think that'll be an issue.
Yeah, he's just waiting for the right opportunity, buddy. Don't you worry. I gotta go with, I guess, a veteran of the truck series. I'm gonna go with that 38 of Chandler Smith. He's just been really consistent. Now he's come back down in the truck series. And I just see a veteran like driver winning this race. So, pencil me in for Front Row Motorsports 38.
I like it. It's a good pick. And we all picked former Kyle Busch Motorsports drivers.
Hey, how about that? All right, well, let's move over to the All Star race. This is going to start off with the open race. It's 100 laps, 62 and a half miles. There will be a halfway break. Three drivers will advance. Two of the top open drivers that finish this race, and one driver gets voted in. So we're going to start off with you, Nick. Who do you think is going to be your top two finishing drivers, and who is your voted in driver?
Real. So I've been doing some thinking about this. I wanted to go with Ty Gibbs, but I'm not going to. I think the first guy to race his way in is going to be the 23 car, Bubba Wallace, because you remember the All Star race a couple years ago where he finished, I believe, second in this race at North Wilkesboro. So he knows how to get around here. So I think Bubba's going to find his way in. He's been fast almost everywhere we went this year. He's having a really good season right now. So yeah, I think Bubba Wallace will be the first guy to get his way in. And then my second guy was going to be Ty Gibbs, but it's not going to be Ty Gibbs anymore. My second guy is going to be, I'm going to go with go a little bit out on the edge here, and I'm going to say Eric Jones is going to get his way in. Legacy has they've had some decent to good runs here lately, and this isn't the most stacked field for the Open. So I think Eric Jones has a shot, and I'm going to go with a veteran here. And I'm going to go Eric Jones to be the sleeper to get his way into the All Star race because Legacy has kind of started to turn the corner here with some speed. And if I had to go with a guy who's going to get voted in between, I think it's going to come down between Gregson and Shane Van Gisbergen. I think those are the two that the people want to see race in this. And I already know who Ian's pick's going to be, so I'm going to go against him. So I'm going to take the 88 of SVG. I think he's going to get himself voted in on the fan vote.
Fair, fair. I'll take it. So my two open drivers, I mean Carson Hocevar, he's just shown a lot of maturity, even though he was flipping off Lane Riggs there on the last lap.
That's a
But
winning a fucking truck race.
and
yeah.
calling people his age kids.
But he's shown a lot of growth in the Cup Series. He's been very consistent, and he's been trying to run up front. So I think that with this field here, I think Carson Hocevar can win the Open. And then I also do agree. I think Bubba Wallace can come up and get that second place finishing spot. So I'll have those two drivers in, and of course my boy Noah Gregson's going to get voted
Nope.
in. I mean he's just one of the most popular NASCAR drivers that's not named Chase Elliott. So
I really do think, yeah, I think it's going to it's going to come down to the 4 and the 88. I really do think so.
agreed.
So I had to go against it just to make it a
Yeah,
little bit interesting.
yeah, absolutely. All right, Tom. Well, who are you going to side with, SVG or Noah Gregson? Who's getting voted in?
But get ready for this one. I'm gonna say that Ryan Preece will win the All Star Open, followed across the line by the 77, aggressive 77, Carson Hocevar, and that would put Bubba Wallace in the lead for the fan vote. So I'm gonna go option C.
Ooh.
None of
Wow.
the above.
Ooh.
So
Yeah.
that's my prediction. I also recall last year, as I'm looking up and down this list. Do you remember the Ty Gibbs and Michael McDowell rivalry that started? They like wrecked each other
Yeah,
so hard.
I
Maybe
forgot
we'll
about
look
that.
out.
What
I
a
think
day that
the All Star Open. Anybody who races in the All Star Open is going to beat the crap out of their cars,
Yeah,
trying to
What
make
a
the
day
show.
that would be for Bubba Wallace to win the fan vote. I mean, I would love it. I think we'd all
Yeah,
love it. But
I
what a
I
day
think
that would
so.
what
be.
a
Why not?
turnaround.
He's got
Yeah,
some
what a
supporters.
turnaround that would
Let's
be.
do it. Bo Wallace fan vote. In
Yeah.
fact, I'll start voting. When can I start voting? I don't know. Too
Yeah.
Uh,
late.
voting's
3
been going
weeks
on for
ago.
like, yeah, 3 weeks ago.
Damn, I'm not on Twitter anymore. I'm so out of touch.
I've been voting every day for Noah.
There you go.
All right, so then after the open race, we're gonna have two 75 lap heat races, and then that will lead into our All Star race. That will be 250 laps, 125 miles. Stage one will be 100 laps, and then the final two stages will only be 50 laps each. So that will be pretty interesting there. NASCAR has said that they will be bringing out a sponsored caution, which is basically whenever they want to throw out a caution, it's gonna happen. So
Pretty
got
much when this race starts to suck is when they're gonna bring it out. So we might need a couple of them. So
yeah, and one might not be enough.
yeah.
2009 Phantom debris caution,
Yep, we're bringing them back, man.
but they're not saying it's for debris anymore. It's like because
Yep,
we want to.
yeah, just because we want to. Yep. Previous winners here at North Wilkesboro for the All Star race, we had Joey Logano last year and Kyle Larson in 2023. So right now, I guess maybe you want to look at some Penske cars or some Hendrick Motorsports cars, guys. Um, Nick, we're going to start off with you, buddy. Who is your winner for the All Star race?
Jeff, your baby boy won at Daytona. Jeff, your baby boy is absolutely not going to win this All Star race. I'm going with the 5 car. I'm going with the 5 car Kyle Larson. A couple of years ago, he said it best himself. That was just an old fashioned ass whooping. And that's pretty much what Kyle Larson has been doing to the Cup Series field for the start of the season. Anytime he gets out front, he's gone. And this is a track that's way too difficult to pass at. I don't anticipate a lot of action up front for the lead. So once the 5 car gets out front, look for him to set sail, just like he did last week at Kansas. And Kyle Larson will put on another old fashioned ass whooping this weekend. Sorry, Harrison. I almost gave it to you.
Well, you know, you mentioned Harrison Burton, and I really like how that 21 car is, especially with Harrison Burton being out of that 21 car. Uh, Josh Berry, he's just impressed us this year, stepping into that Wood Brothers machine. I mean, he won at Vegas. He's an old school driver. I want to see an old school driver win at an old school track. So pencil me in for that 21 going to victory lane and winning $1 million for the former bank teller.
I'd be sick. The 21 car winning at an old school track like North Wilkesboro would be awesome.
That would just be absolutely perfect.
I think that's a great pick.
Yeah.
I wanted to pick him, but you picked him. That's how it goes. I have to go with another Penske car. Like you said, look for the Penske's, look for the Hendricks. I'm looking for the Penske car that has been seemingly the only car been able to pass anybody all season, and that's the 12. I think Blaney wins himself a second All-Star race.
Yeah.
Keep that window net up.
Yeah, keep it up. No, but knowing
He's
NASCAR
probably going to
watch.
do his when he wins, he's going to do his whole burnout without lowering the window down.
Yeah, just watch. We're gonna go the full, like almost the full length of this race. They're not gonna pull that phantom caution out, and they're gonna pull it on the last lap when he's coming to the checkered flag.
Last
They're
lap.
gonna do what they did to him at Texas a few years ago.
Luckily, they've thought of that. They can't throw it that late, but it is
Darn.
fun to think about.
Oh,
This
that would
is the
be so
NASCAR
funny.
officials we're talking about. They might pull back on that.
Yeah, they might
throw
just
it on the
forget
last
about it
lap.
and just make up a new
Like,
just for
fucking
shits
rule
and
like they
gigs.
have before.
Here's another one. Psych.
Yeah. So yeah, guys, I'd say we got a good group of drivers picked here that could win this all-star race. Hopefully they'll put on a good show for us because we know the short tracks have been lacking with this next gen car. But I expect a good show out of the trucks this year. The trucks they've been doing phenomenal this season. Hasn't been a whole lot of
Truly.
bullshit wrecking. That's more on the Xfinity Series side right now. So hopefully we'll get one hell of a show come Saturday afternoon.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm also excited. The Cars Tour is going to be on Fox or FS1 with Dale Jr. in the booth. I'm really excited. I don't have Flow. I don't watch really. I only see highlights of the Cars Tour. I'm excited to check it out and see what it is. Maybe it's something that'll send me over the edge to get a Flow. So.
Yeah, I mean the Cars Touring series is just really exciting. Dale Jr. and Kevin Harvick, they're doing wonders with that series right now. All right, guys. Well, that will wrap it up for us here at the Stock Car Spectacle. If you haven't yet, make sure to like our video and subscribe to our channel and comment down below what you think is going to happen at North Wilkesboro this weekend. Who is your all-star winner? So let us know down below. That'll do it for us here. I'm Ian Jortson.
I'm Nick Kinsel.
I'm Tom Hovland.
And we'll see you guys next time. Enjoy the all-star race.